Ba, 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 ba. So, here we go. Part 14. So we just arrived at the Albinord village, but doesn't seem like that Nephilim is already here, so I think we have to check the round table hold first.
Ah, yes. I wonder if you've met my foster father. He's in his study. The room entrance guarding just over there. If you haven't already, I advise you introduce yourself. Father is leader of the Round Table. I'm sure talking to him will be worth your while. It's about time I headed off. I'll see you again, warrior, should the fates deign it.
Hey Ola, what's up?
It's about time I headed off. I'll see you again, warrior, should the fates deign it.
Shouldn't she? Oh, she already gave me the Arsenal charm. Okay.
You've received the wisdom of the two fingers, have you not? Then I bid you welcome, as a true member of the Round Table. I am known as Gideon Ofnir, as a tarnished who wishes to stand before the Elden Ring and become Elden Lord. I am accumulating knowledge, to be all-knowing. You now belong to a select group of fellows. As such, I ask that you remain constant. You'll be after more great runes now, eh? Then as your fellow, allow me to divulge a little knowledge. The inheritors of the great runes, the Shard Bearers. We of the Round Table know the location of 5 of them, including the one you defeated. Godric the Grafted, Lord of Stormvale. General Radahn, who fought Melania and her rot to a standstill in the Caelid Wilds. Praetor Rykard, Lord of the Volcano Manor of Mount Gelmir. Morgott the Grace-Given, Veiled Monarch and Lord of Leyndell. And Renala, Queen of the Full Moon, ruler of Rhea Lucaria's Academy. You'll still be after more great runes, won't you?
Ooh, a lot of knowledge. What about Nephilim?
I understand you've been speaking to Nepheli. She's my daughter. I took her in when she lost the guidance of grace. Though a mere axe-wielding barbarian, her youthful credulity suited my purposes. So I put her to work. Do not hesitate to employ her. Should her services benefit you, despite her looks, she is more than capable in the press of battle. So, Godric the Grafted, Lord of Stormvale. Despite being the blood of Godfrey, first Elden Lord, he's a grotesque old fool grasping for power. His castle lies upon the cliff to Limgrave's northwest, but I suspect you know that well enough already.
Go to Gurranq only if you feel the time is right. Killing those who live in death and weeding their death route is a path not to be trod without ample resolve.
Always good to see you safe. So, what do you need?
Oh, I already got the black knife print. Oh yeah, I was in the black knife catacombs already. I just wait a little bit until we are done with the west coast.
Greetings. Are you here for spirit tuning?
Tuna.
Well, where have you been hiding? I took you for dead. No matter, it's all the same. Lay out your arms then.
Okay, so but now let's continue with the Albanark village. And yeah, she's kind of paralleling Godfrey. Observing what happened to the Tarnished.
Oh, it's you. Well, what do you make of it? What's happened to this village? I witnessed a sight much the same in my infancy. The oppression of the weak. Murder and pillage unchecked. A waking nightmare made by men. But this time, I'm a woman grown, and though the suffering cannot be undone, I can still mete out justice. Justice to the oppressors. Let the scars I carve remind them. I am Nefelilu, warrior. But this time, and though the suffering just...
Bro. Okay, so to me it seems like everything in here in the Albanark village is paralleling events in Limgrave or even at Castle Morn, where it's about the slaughter of the Tarnished, which only Godfrey survived, and yeah, kind of full of anger and regret in a similar way like Nefelilu, and fits the change of Godfrey to Horalu. So one of the themes going on here is the Poison Storm, for example. And Poison the Albinorics, which is about thematically paralleling the Tarnished being poisoned. There are some interesting little spots in here. I don't know what this one is about. I think it's might even be that this is the biggest amount of centrinalities that you can find in this game. Right in front of a tree. Okay, so let's see. There's one over here. There. Oh, god damn it. Woo. That's a weird spot. Okay. Now it's, yeah. Yeah, these are coffin poison. It's kind of interesting. There are only a few in here. Oh, damn. There's some over there too. This one, for example. Another one is over there. But there's a really interesting spot where 3 of them over there. There are 2 smithing stones placed, and when you pick them up, or when you came near to it, 3 of those albinorics just rise from the poison swamp and start crawling towards you and the item, and they just die from, yeah, without anything. They just die from poison. It's 2 smithing stones too, and 1, 2, 3. They usually start crawling now, but they just die. Oh, come on. After a few seconds, usually. Or are they not? Come on, why are they not dying? Usually they are dying after a few seconds. Or are they only dying when I'm out of range? Oh, weird behavior. So yeah, 2 of them are already dead now. Or maybe they only die when they're on the, when they're over there for some reason. Are they dead though? Let's check. Oh no, they're just... Okay, they're not dead. They're not dying. Ah, never mind. Okay, besides Orbanorics being poisoned over here, a lot of them are hung up. And they got kind of slaughtered. Are Orbanorics parallel to the Tarnished? Yeah, I would say so. Especially the Orbanorg village, in my opinion, is paralleling the events in Limgrave or Weeping Peninsula or Castle Morn after the banishment, where they got slaughtered in a way. I don't know if you've watched the latest chapter, but I told that they probably got poisoned by Radagon, disguising himself as Marika and blessing them with some dew from the Earth Tree, which is also poisoning. And in the end, yeah. This village is done for. Please, even if it's just you, old elbows, hide well and still your breath. Yeah. They're not only poisoned. Some of them are poisoned down there, but they got also slaughtered in this place. And as I imagine the story, the Tarnished got slaughtered in Weeping Peninsula, or Limgrave as a whole, or Castle Morn. Oh, holy shit. Good morning, Morgan. Morgino? Laval tier. Probably just because it fits thematically to the silver beings, to the Orbinorics. Okay, we have the poisoned Albinorics paralleling the poisoned Tarnished. We also have the Albinorics being slaughtered at the same time by Depraved Perfumer over here. And an Omen Killer over there as well. The legs don't work. Is it symbolic? Slaves are forced to crawl while their masters walk or something? Yeah, I would say so, definitely. I think it's symbolic, exactly. I think it's probably, as I imagine it now, I think it's symbolically for the Tarnished being bound to the Elden Ring. So their freedom is kind of limited. Oh, holy shit. At least that's how I interpret this for now. I think it's the Tarnished being bound to someone, to Radagon or the Elden Ring. And it's kind of yeah, limiting their freedom, or yeah, when Radagon is going to slaughter them, it's about returning to the Elden Ring in some way. And there are things that I will try to discuss in the next chapters. I know it will take me some time, but the whole purpose for them was probably about yeah, collecting grace and souls, probably, for the Elden Ring, so it can gain the power that it needs in some way, becoming a god. I think that's what it's about. The Tarnished were just some kind of tools for the Elden Ring and Radagon, in my opinion. Okay, so while the spirit is telling something about old Albus, at least he shall survive this whole slaughter. He's hiding here.
Please, no. Dear me. I haven't a clue. No secrets lie with me, not a one. Oh, please leave me be. Wait then. You're not one of them? Well, what a relief. Oh, goodness me. I am Albus and Albinoric. As you can see, we're finished. The whole village is finished. The cursemongers have destroyed everything. No one that remains has their wits about them. I beg you. Would you look after this medallion? You must keep it out of the cursemongers' hands.
Yeah, and as I think that Albus is paralleling Godfrey hiding himself in this slaughter, in this massacre. I'm not sure if this medallion is supposed to parallel something, I don't know.
And if you should meet the young Albinoric Latena, then please give it to her. A chosen land awaits us, Albinorics. The medallion is the key that leads to the city. It's only a quaint treasure for we who cannot make the journey. But for dear Latena, it is needed to fulfill her purpose.
Would a warrior hide? Yeah, I know that it speaks a little bit against Godfrey's portrayal, but I think George R. R. Martin had way more human characters in mind, and even Godfrey knows when he's beaten, and he was probably forced to hide, as I think. I know that it's something that might be not easy to accept because of his portrayal in the game, but we don't know much about him, and it's just the theme that's going on. It's not only Albus. I mean, it's not very obvious that Albus might be Godfrey parallel, but I think if you look at Alexander, for example, Alexander also represents a proud warrior and shares a lot of character traits that apply to Godfrey as well. And if we consider Alexander as a Godfrey parallel, even Alexander has a moment where he's saying that he had to hide himself, and yeah, especially the line in Alexander convinced me of that. And there are some item placements even that allude to the same circumstances. I haven't pointed them out in my videos yet, but I might do that at some point.
My legs will soon fade, and with them my life. Alas, this is the immovable fate of all Albinorics.
And in the end, I think it's more from the perspective of the writer, from George R. R. Martin probably. I think it's just more about hiding his existence, and especially about his survival. So if you think from the perspective of a writer, how are you going to explain how a warrior survived the massacre? So yeah, the only way is just to make him hide himself. So, as I imagine it, Godfrey was the only one who survived the massacre by Radagon in Limgrave or Weeping Peninsula. Aldous is paralleling this event, and this one always intrigued me because it's for some strange reason it's placed inside of this grave, a tomb, and it's so symbolically it is kind of buried, and it's the ivory sickle. And I've already said in my videos, but it's a sickle that represents the dedication to the Harlech tree. So in a way, dedication to a holy tree. But it's buried. So if you want to interpret it in some way, I would say it's symbolically, it's kind of the burying of the dedication to a holy tree. And it kind of fits with the circumstances of Godfrey, where he had to experience the whole slaughter of his kinfolk, of the Tarnished, and also think that it was the event where his axe broke, and his broken axe, his broken faith in the Earth Tree, is paralleled by the buried ivory sickle. I think that's what's about here. Well, and Nepheli down there is somewhat paralleling Godfrey as well, where he had to experience the whole slaughter. Melena's Godfrey's daughter too? I think so. In some way. The whole concept of is I actually think that Mela is in some way, until now, I think she's in some way her daughter, his daughter, probably. There's not much pointing to this, but there's one little thing that I think might hint to that. It's because I think that Dialos is, in my opinion, also a Godfrey parallel, and Lanya, his servant, might be a Melina parallel. And it's interesting because Lanya, the name Lanya, means daughter. But that's another story. That's something, yeah. So, there we got the Omen Killer, slaughtering the Albinorics. And they also get burned. In the same way I also told in my latest chapter of the Godfrey series, where the Tarnish got poisoned and burned by Radigan. Similar to the circumstances in here. Oh, jeez. I'm not hitting that dude. No. Crucible not talisman. Okay, we got poisoned Albinaurix and slaughtered Albinaurix and burned Albinaurix. And in a similar way, the Tarnish probably got poisoned, slaughtered and burned in Limgrave Reaping Peninsula. But one theme that is also going on here is that they're kinda buried near trees, or at least they appear near the tree roots. It's not only here, where we get a tree nearby. If we look at the trees here in this Albinauric village, they are always... okay, not always. But in all the other cases, most of the other cases, there are always... not here though, but over there. Here, for example, we got like corpses right under the tree. Or here we got them. Some other places as well, I think. Here too. Wait, so are Mesmer, Melon, Godwyn, Morgan, Morgan all Godfrey's kids? I'm not 100. I'm not fully convinced yet how they are related, to be honest. And I think Mesmer is because he's a character of the DLC. I see it's somewhat different. So when it comes to Mesmer, I see him more symbolically as a parallel and not yeah. And we got the rune arc. So we got the Crucible Nord Talisman here and burned Albinaurix with a tree nearby. I think it's about how the Earth Tree somewhat gained the grace, but also some of its power. I think it's also thematically related to the Crucible in some way. Yeah, but as I said, in my opinion, Godfrey was the only one surviving all of this. And becoming Horalu again with his faith in the Earth Tree shattered. And the following questline of Nepheli Lewis paralleling this quite well. Yeah, he once again corpses next to tree roots. Oh, we got an item over here as well. It looks really interesting placed here with an additional corpse. Directly in front of tree roots. So I wonder if this is something we can gain something from. Albinoric blood cloth. Directly in front of tree roots. So I think this is just... I think this is supposed to be a little hint where it's also... that there's also some kind of connection here between the Albinorics and maybe their... them placed next to the tree roots. So, although it doesn't make much sense in this Albinoric village... I mean, it makes not a lot of sense, or there seems not a lot of connections between the Albinorics and the tree roots, right? And there's nothing that hints to some connections. But if you look at this whole event here as a parallel, it's not about the Albinorics and them being placed next to tree roots. It's more about the Tarnished being also placed or buried to the Earth Tree's roots. So I think that's why they place an Albinoric blood cloth right here. A lot of things start to make way more sense if you look at them as parallels and not on their own. I like the idea that the DLC might be all, or at least for the majority part, symbolic. The amount of things in the Land of Shadows seems too much and too disconnected from the base game. Exactly, that's what I think too. And I think, especially... So, I don't know how much you remember of what I told about the storytelling, but it makes so much more sense that it's... because... It happened repeatedly in DLCs from FromSoft where people wished for more explanations, people wished for more answers to questions they had. But in a lot of cases, it's not the first time in From Software's DLCs. In a lot of cases, something entirely differently takes place. Like in most cases, new characters appear, new bosses appear, new themes are going on, or new content as a whole. And in most DLCs it felt so disconnected to the base game. It's kinda strange what From Software had in mind, because in the end it seems like that the Shadow of the Earth Tree, for example, as a DLC, doesn't answer much, but the storytelling follows, I think, always one principle. Whenever they want to tell something about the main story, about the true story that is in the end omitted, they are creating other characters and other NPCs that are supposed to mirror the part of the main story. So when they want to tell something about the main story, about the true story that is omitted and is obscured, then they are just creating something new, and which is, but in the end, supposed to only mirror these parts of the main story or the main characters. And in the end, you only get behind that when you start to see these things as parallels and see them more symbolically. But if you take these things literally and only look at them on their own, they don't make much sense, right? So in this case, an Albinoric bloodcloth might be placed here because I think it's about Albinorics being placed to tree roots. And this item is probably supposed to highlight this. Doesn't make much sense on its own, but if you see this whole village and its event as a parallel to the Tarnished, it makes way more sense where it's about the Tarnished being buried to the Earth Tree's roots. And I think this approach that they have the main story and are always creating something else to mirror the main story, but they will never tell that directly, not only explains how they always come up with these strange DLCs that seem so disconnected to the base game, it also explains why they don't like to make sequels. Because everything is supposed to mirror this one main story, is inspired by it. So if you want to make a sequel, they would start with a new main story, new true story, and then create everything around it mirroring this new story. But they will end up with something completely new, with new NPCs, new characters, new bosses, and a sequel would also kind of feel like something incredibly disconnected to the prequel. So then why not make a new IP? Because it will feel disconnected anyway. So and that's why I think they always go with a new IP and don't like to make sequels. Because their approach is always about that. Whenever they want to tell something about the main story or true story that is obscured and omitted, they just create something else that is supposed to mirror it. They will never tell the main story or true story directly, in my opinion. It's like playing charade. They will never write the main story down somewhere. They just they're drawing, creating parallels, which have to be seen in a symbolic way. And I think that counts for almost everything in this game. And you have to look at the themes that are going on. For example, I think almost the entire design of Limgrave and Weeping Peninsula, for example, I think like 80% of it is probably thematically inspired by the events of Radagon slaughtering and grafting the Tarnished in a way. And the main boss of this area is mirroring this incredibly well. It's Godric, a descendant from Godfrey, a weakling, usually, grafting Tarnished with the power of a dragon. And I think it's all about, and in the end, I think the main boss is mirroring one part of Radagon's story. Radagon as a weakling, I even think that Radagon is a descendant from Godfrey, and yeah, slaughtering the Tarnished, grafting them to him, but more in a symbolic way, where it is about binding the souls of the Tarnished. And he also has the power of a dragon. So almost everything is supposed to mirror parts of the main story. It's just, yeah. Ah, that's all stuff for another video. I'm already thinking about let's finally crack Elden Ring Part 2. Okay, but now we're done with the Obinok village. Good morning, Zed. Yeah. It's definitely an important area. I think, isn't it even... One of the loading screens have even the Obinok village as a artwork from it. I mean, on the loading screen. Always confused with this area. Like, shouldn't there be... Yeah, because the access to... There's some small region over there with crystals. I don't know. Oh yeah, here it is. Do you ever notice how when an old arbor fades away, there's some light pink or purple particles? I thought that was odd. Is there? You have to rewatch the stream. We even have crystallians over here. Just a summer smithing stone. So, is the summer smithing stone supposed to tell us something? Is it about the view? Is it about the minor tree? Or the rise. Something down here there. Yeah, the converted towers are interesting. Hey Nox. Let's kill those Crystallians. Ouch. Fuck. I thought I was going to make it through the animation. No. There are 2 converted towers or rises with America statue in it. I think the other one is even more intriguing. This one over there. This is another one. The other one is down here. We just made it through the Albinoic village. Nox, and yeah. Making the way, like, exploring the west coast is my plan. One of them would be no problem, just because there are 2. I wonder why this Crystallian is located near the teal glintstones? Not the blue ones, like the ones they're made of. Oh, that's kind of true. Are there even blue glintstones in the game? I mean, besides those that we see on stuffs or the stone crowns. What is residual life? What does a residual mean? Is there anything left here? I believe that crystals are able to contain souls. That's what I think. Or the essence of a soul, in a similar way like how we see it with Selen, for example. But I think this kind of concept is used way more in this game that it tells us directly. I don't know who it was, but someone else on my stream. So what I did was I told my the idea of the concept that I had in mind with crystal or primal glintstones. And someone said that it sounds exactly like a concept of phylactery. And then I realized that it's exactly the same concept that I had in mind. So I think those crystals for one, I think they can contain souls, but also serve as phylacteries. You know, phylacterium, or what is it called? Phylactery? It's something really classic that you find in old fantasy stuff, like Dungeons and Dragons also. And it might even be that we get another hint for this kind of concept of a phylactery. Because it's a concept belonging to a lich. And we got a lich dragon. Maybe it's supposed to hint at something, that this kind of concept of a lich and a phylactery is present in Elden Ring. I mean, it's kind of described through the primal glintstone of Selen as well. So what am I going to level up? Strength? Do I need vigor? Interesting, we had an item over here. I can't remember that there was an item placed. Oh, these are kind of blue. No, these are not blue. Erudition Guide D. What is the connotation of erudition in English? Does it mean to learn something, or does it mean, or is it something to follow someone's orders? Because in German it could be interpreted both ways, I think, or I'm not entirely sure, at least. Glintstone, like 5 of them. It's about learning, okay, okay. Yeah, I don't have a stone crown yet. It's incredibly strange that you can reach the top anyway just by walking at this wall. Oops. What is strange that it even looks intended that you can I mean there are 2 ways, right? You can there's a riddle over here with the stone crown. If you make the erudition gesture, you a ladder appears here, but you can just walk around the tower and jump in the upper part of it anyway. Yeah. Kinda strange. Erudition is definitely a sort of meta play on words. It might be. I think it's. It sounds like there's something to it, but I can't say what. It's just. Yeah, always left me wondering what they had in mind when they used the word erudition. Is he not burning that easily? Ah, shit. 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 Oh, the timing is bad. Oh no, come on. Anything else here? Still, you know it on 1 HP. Yes. Puppets over here. One more puppet. More puppets. Oops. Did you know that you get runes when you hit the balloons? Oh, punch sunflowers. The poor fellow gone perfectly mad. Love, revenge, the friendly flame melts it all away. Oh, we got some slaughtered. Oh, we misbegotten. You've never seen that? These are kind of traces leading towards this shack. I'm wondering if there's one more. Yeah. And there are some slaughtered misbegotten because they leads towards this, towards the Revenger's shack. Wait a second, why haven't I progressed the quest line? Wait a second. Yeah, it's I think it's supposed to be traces of Rena's father. Oh, she's dead. Oh, guys, she's dead. Did you want to say hi, Dad? Oh, I think the questline is buggy. Oh shit. I think I fucked up the questline. Oh fuck. I knew that there's some way to, I don't know, there's some order of things that if you do it in the wrong way. I think the quest line might be bugged. Ah. No, he's gone. I haven't killed him yet, have I? No. Usually she should have disappeared after the first time I visiting her. Oh shit. I fucked the quest line up. Ah, that's so strange. Oh, that's kind of annoying. Did I fuck up the quest line just by... I don't know why. So there's a... I don't know if it's a bug, but usually you're doing the quest line of Irina. She dies, you speak to her father, and then you're starting to progress Hayata's quest line. But I think it might be bugged because I have done the quest line with Irina's father, but I haven't returned to her. So I haven't found her dad, and I haven't spoke to her dad. But I already progressed Hayata's quest line. And because they are somewhat related, I think it's kind of bugged now. Because I already started Hayata's quest line, but haven't returned to Irina. It's a bit strange. I think usually it might even be that she shouldn't appear here before Irina has died. I don't know. Kind of strange now. What makes it even more strange is that I think this Misbegotten only appear when he yeah, also appears as a Revenger here. God damn it. That's kind of sad. Maybe I'm going... Let's see what happens. Maybe restarting the game might help. Who knows? Let's try. Let's speak to her one more time, and then restart the game. Yeah. Hmm. Boys. Yeah, I think we fucked up the quest line. So, the thing is, I'm convinced that Hayata is actually Irina. They share the same model, and there's some strange relationship between them. So, and the same voice actress as well. And the problem, so if you don't want to fuck up the quest line, the problem is I progressed the quest line of Arena and Weeping Peninsula, but I skipped the last part. So I forgot to return to Irina's corpse and skipped a dialogue with Edgar, Irina's father. And for some strange reason, I don't know if it's a bug, but Hayata appears a bit earlier. There's a short window in the quest line where Hayata already appears in the end of Irina's quest line. So there is some moment in the quest line where we haven't finished Irina's quest line, but Hayata's already there. And I think in... I just... progress at the wrong time. So I forgot the last part of Rina's quest line and already progressed Hayata's, and in this way, yeah, her quest line is kind of bugged. But because I don't spoke with Edgar at the end of Irina's quest line, he now does not appear in the Ravager's shack, which is kind of sad. Or maybe another thing could be that I have to speak to Hayeta again. But no, but usually doesn't really matter. Usually, Hayeta is now already here, but usually it doesn't matter if she's where she is. After Arena's questline is finished, Edgar should appear here in the Ravager's shack. Yeah, we fucked up, boys. And because of that, I can't progress Hayata's questline now. Yeah, but in the end it definitely glitches the questline. Ah. Sword dance. Try think about hole? Nee, rump. Roads and catacombs. It's one of the catacombs with 4 chairs. Ouch. Ouch. Okay, so this room is intriguing because it contains 4 chairs. We got 1 chair over here. We got 1 over here. 1 over there. And another one here. And what's so intriguing in this... why this room is so intriguing is not only the 4 chairs, but the design is also kind of unique. It's for one, it's those gravestones. Is that tombstone outside huge in general? Is it bigger than all the other tombstones outside? And additionally, it's not only the tombstones around these chairs that are placed here. It's this this kind of vessel. It's usually an asset that only appears in connection to Farmer Zula or Dragon Communion, I think. It usually only appears in connection with ancient dragons. Yeah, but the tombstone in Castle Morn is an entirely different one. Royal Lucaria soldiers, soldier ashes. I'm still not sure. I think there might be a parallel behind the spirit ashes, but yeah, I'm not entirely sure what it might parallel. Yeah, I know that you mean the tombstone outside the catacomb, but I mean, what I was wondering, is it bigger than all the others outside? If it's just a regular tombstone, I would say it might be not that important, you know. But if it's bigger than every other tombstone in the game, then it would be something entirely different. What I'm wondering right now is this kind of tombstone here, the more flattened one. Does this one appear more often? Or less, I mean. So regarding this one, I already know that this is an asset, usually only appearing in connection with Farmer Zula or Dragon Communion. Even the name kind of fits. I mean, Road's End sounds like that someone's life came to an end. So these tombstones kind of fit. My suspicion so far was that it might reference the death of Marika as the woman in the black hood. That's my suspicion so far. I can't tell. Yeah, maybe these. Maybe it's highlighted that it's a trio because because 3 is a bad omen. Maybe it's about Radagon? Rapacious ways? Could be Radagon, maybe? I don't know. Yeah, idiom relating to a journey or life coming to an end. I think that kind of fits really, really well, right? The whole tombstone imagery, especially in this room, kind of fits this whole interpretation. And I think it's about Marika because of two things. reflex. So what items do we have here? Human bone shard. Watchdogs stuff. So because I think the end boss in this catacomb is a spirit calling snail, and before we enter this this part of the catacomb, we even find a rune arc, because I think it's about Marika, who is probably a spirit caller in my opinion. Yeah, 3 root resin. Probably, I think it's about Marika returning to the Earth Tree. If you remember the story I told in the We Are Godwyn series, I mean it's a pretty complex and long story, but they conspired against Radagon. Then the Black Knife, Night of Black Knives happens, but in these events, at some point Marika died prematurely. And this room with 4 catacombs is probably about Marika's death and her return to the Earth Tree. So because every catacomb has a specific theme that belongs to the whole puzzle of my chair theory, if you remember this whole stuff. So we've got 3 root raisins, the rune arc outside, and the boss over here is Spirit Calling Snail. And the interesting part is that the Spirit Calling Snail is summoning a Crucible Tree Knight. So we get another association with the tree there as well. Because I think the Crucible Tree Knights are almost in every case, the Crucible Tree Knights are used as a reference to Marika. For example, how like in the case of the waterfall in Nokron, where Marika's Scar Seal is under a Crucible Tree Knight. And in this case, I think the Crucible Tree Knight is summoned because it's also again about Marika. Ouch. Oh, fucked up with the last parry. Some parry practice. The important thing about Marika being a spirit tuner is that even though her soul is imprisoned inside of Radigan and the Elden Ring and the Earth Tree. She's able to summon spirits or summoning herself as a spirit outside to communicate with others. Why do I have a heavy roll? Oh, because of the bow. Don't forget to smash that like button, yes. Oh, wait. Oh. I'm not used to this one of the attacks. So, okay. So, first one. Second one. Third one. I think when she's under 50% HP, she starts to summon the Crucible Sword Knight. I think the Spirit Chronicler is only doing that when she's under 50%. Then some Sorcerer Ashes. Yeah. So I think the whole Spirit Calling theme is about Marika. And the Road's End Catacombs is probably about her death and return to the Earth Tree. Where she only acts, from where she's only able to project herself somewhere else to communicate. Similar to Selen. Yeah, Selen parallels this really well. Let's see. Yeah, I'm not sure if this is something interesting. I've literally never in my life seen two Crucible Knights back to back at the asses spanked so hard live on stream. I think Crucible Knights, you can practice parrying with the Crucible Knights really well because their attack animations are kind of slow. They're quite easy to parry actually in comparison to other enemies. It's just that you have to practice parry a little bit, and not everyone is aiming for that. It's not that much bigger than others, is it? Yeah, but nonetheless, I think it just I think it's just an interesting detail that adds to the whole theme of it, of being about the death of someone. I think that's why it just fits really well, I think, with the whole theme. Yeah, and even the spirit jellyfish might be a little nod to America, because I also linked them to her. Wait, are these... Is it night? It's not night. It's day. Aren't they usually only appearing at night? It all fits so well. Do you mean the theme of the catacomb? Yeah, it's just you have to. I think the key to most of these things is to have the right story in mind, and then it's like a key, you know. It's then things start to make sense. But it's like a riddle. You have to recognize these themes in some way. But yeah, I agree totally. The whole Road's End and the death of someone, and probably Marika's death as the woman in the black coat, kind of fits really well. We got those spirit jellyfish, so we got the spirit calling snail, a crucible tree knight, those 3 root raisins right before the spirit calling snail, a rune arc right in front of this as well, and those tombstones inside of this one room. Yeah, the 4-chair room, once again, has some strange details, and the tombstones fit really well, and the even the name Road's End fits matched the whole theme. It just annoys me that we can't progress Hayata's questline. But in my Godwyn run, I haven't aimed for the Frenzy Flame ending anyway, so instead we will just kill Hayata earlier in her questline. Oh, this one is kind of intriguing too. So, Cuckoo's Everjail. You might remember how I discussed Corin's etymology of his name. Like that it could also have been, yeah, maybe it derived from the name Colin actually, but I don't know how it works. But I've seen this a lot. Maybe you guys know it better than me, but in a lot of cases, an L is translated with an R from Japanese to English. I don't know why, but it's something that appears quite often, isn't it? For example, Maliket, I think is called Marikesu or so. Or was it the other way around? I don't know. So, because in this case we got a knight called Sir Bors with an R. But I think it's actually a reference to a knight called Balls with an L. So here too, they might have translated the name with an R instead of an L. Yeah, because there's no R in Japanese. And that's why they sometimes translate an L with an R. I don't know how this works, but I've seen it quite some times. Yeah, what I try to say is just that this knight here got the name Sir Bors with an R, but I think it's actually a reference to a knight called Sir Balls with an L, and it's in the mythology of the Arthur, Legend of Arthur, and the Round Table Hold. There is there's a legend about some knight called Sir Bold, who found the Holy Grail. And I was wondering if this knight might be a reference to that. Especially because we got the Round Table Hold as a name in this game. So Karian Knight Balls. Oh no, he's called Balls. Was it the other way around? Like Sir Bors? Whatever. So there is a... Then it was the other way around. There is a knight called Sir Bors in the myth about the Round Table Hold. The Round Table. And the knight Sir... Fuck me. Yeah, it might be that these things are intended. Sometimes I'm even wondering if they are translating these things in a way that it's more unclear, maybe, or more ambiguous. Great blade founds. So I do not often look at mythologies that might be referenced, but in this case I just thought it's quite interesting. Thought that it might be so. In the case of this Carrion Knight bolts, I was thinking maybe this one is referenced here. You might want to look into that if you're interested in that, but yeah, it's just because we got the round table in the game, maybe as a reference to Arthur's legend, or but we also have Holy Grail symbolism in the game, so maybe there's something to it. Singing Bad Lady. So what do we have here? A lot of lobsters. It's even interesting. I think some of them have eggs on them, some don't. Like this one got blah. A lot of eggs. What item do we have here? Drip of white flesh. Any other item? Ooh! Sniper lobsters. Go torrent. Okay, there's nothing interesting here. You know, why do they sing? Hey Dan. Yeah, I got this. It's the Song of Lament that they are singing. And there's a reason why I chose that song as the intro song for the Godfrey series. I might get to that point sometime maybe. I've already been here. Here too, we have spirit jellyfish, a lot of them. Together with headless trolls. It's even interesting that those are carrion trolls. Oh. Neuschwanstein Castle. Does it? I don't know how Neuschwanstein looks like actually right now. Yeah, I'm German. I thought my accent would be hört man sofort, ja, wollte ich so gerade natürlich. Ich habe ja einiges an Akzent. But yeah, I'm trying to speak English because the audience is way bigger in the English community. I was thinking about producing the videos in German, but yeah. I was convinced that those videos might be... I aimed for a bigger audience because I wanted to address most people. The German community is dead. Yeah, that as well. I think I joined one of the German Discord servers once, and yeah. There were just some Gen Z dudes on it that were bullying each other in regard to how challenging they are doing their playthrough. And there was nothing and no one discussing lore, actually. And to me it feels like the lore community is quite small now. Yeah, we got this Baldachin motif on all of these 4 belfries. This one. There and there, and this is the one we found on the Baldachin's Blessing as well. But what's really intriguing is that it's actually it's also right next to the portals. It's also right next to the portal on the left and on the right, even this small one over there and there. I haven't noticed this for almost 3 years or 4 years or so. It's almost everywhere on the 4 belfries. Racy pies. And if you, I mean, the Baldachin's Blessing is referring to a temple disguised as a bedchamber, and it kind of makes sense then. If this is the only place where this imagery appears, or this asset, I mean, yeah, it kind of makes sense in the end that maybe it's about the Chapel of Anticipation where someone is slumbering, and it's us in the end. In the other cases, it doesn't make much sense when it comes to the other belfries. And yeah, the only interesting detail that I found there was that the skull over there is oriented to the right all of these cases. This one is right oriented and this one as well. But the one to the Chapel of Anticipation, the skull is oriented to the left. That's the only detail that maybe points to the significance of this to this belfry. That leads to the Chapel of Anticipation. I don't know. So this one stands out and just when it comes to the skull. That is right above the baldachin's imagery. So now it's time for revenge. I mean, these trees. I always thought that it's about the wind, that they being formed like this are more just yeah, maybe it just fits more to the whole wind, stormy weather. Not that you can parry this guy, but the attack animations are so strange to read that I can't parry him. I suck at this. Shouldn't he be staggered at some point? Or just... okay, he's just dead. Ornamental straight sword. Golden Beast crest shield. The Golden Beast crest shield is still a riddle to me. It also looks like there's something, some illusion hidden, but yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's supposed to depict Zarosh. It might be that they took visual inspiration from Scotland. That's true. Miyazaki and his team actually traveled to Scotland for inspiration. So it's no wonder that they have a lot of Welsh names, or that Limgrave looks a lot like Scotland, or parts of Britain. I got even the there's a small interview. There's some, or there's a part in an interview where it's about Miyazaki and his team traveling to Scotland. So it's really interesting. After falling from grace, the dregs of the golden lineage sought power and purpose in the past. Oh, now I get it, I think. It's about Godfrey. Yeah, the shield on that I'm wearing has the crest looking to the right. That's true. The ornamental this ornamental straight sword is. I mean the beast great shield kind of makes sense because it's about Zarosh, but this one is still interesting. I don't know if it's supposed to depict roots. You know? Do you guys think it is supposed to depict roots? Sometimes you have to observe the obvious details as well. Maybe it's supposed to allude to the fact that the Greys return to the Earth Tree through the roots. Oh, that kind of makes sense. It could be that it is alluding to the circumstances that the grace that Radagon, you know, I've talked about that in the, when I was in the Orbinorg village, but the story how I imagine it right now is that Radagon poisoned the Tarnished to, yeah, to and burned them afterwards, like those who survived. But they got also buried to the Earth Tree's roots, and this is the way where how the Greys actually returned to the Earth Tree. Maybe this is alluding to the circumstances that the Greys made its way through the Earth Tree's roots, maybe. Or it's about the... It could also be about the Crucible, maybe. Why are they crossing the swords? Maybe it's about fighting, crossing swords. More about fighting, maybe? I don't know. Something about battle. And golden tempering. I mean, it also fits the whole Crucible themes. If you look at the Crucible Knights, for example, who are using golden, yeah, like golden powers. Okay, but Godfrey survived the massacre, and was after that he was kind of, yeah, tarnished. Oralu. His faith in the Earth Tree shattered and conspired later against it, and the Golden lineage followed this and joined Godfrey, in my opinion. And in the end they all fell from grace. So, and the whole thing of searching power and purpose in the past, I think it's also about Godfrey. And it fits that we also find the beast great shield with these items. Golden beast crest shield. Because we have this one. The Stormhawk King. So this one is crucial because I think it's about Godfrey in the end. Godfrey was the only one who refused to return to the Earth Tree in a way. He was the only one surviving the massacre. And when he then joined or allied with Maricas, the woman in the black hood, they used the old crest of Stormvale again. I think that's what happened. But there's something that I think the story starts in the very, very distant past where, and the Stormhawk King, I think, stands symbolically for Godfrey, who picks up the old crest of Stormvale again. And we get another hawk here. It's Stormhawk Dina. So, who of you guys are German? Because I think this might be something that only Germans get, because I think the name is supposed to sound like a German name or German word. So I think Limgrave in Stormvale is, in the very distant past, plays an important role, and then that the story kind of begins there, and it's really interesting because we have, for most of the major characters, we got a bird as a symbol. We got the Warhawk ashes for Godwyn. Oh no, was it the Warhawk? Yeah, Warhawk ashes. So this one I was discussing in the We Are Godwyn series. The storm is the Warhawk's cradle. The Godwyn, the one who is slumbering in the tip of anticipation, and is yeah, the flightless bird. And so on. And we got the Stormhawk King symbolically for Godfrey. And Stormhawk Dina is, in my opinion, actually stands symbolically for Melina. And I think that's why the Stormhawk Dina is placed right here, because Stormhawk Dina, in my opinion, is stands symbolically for Melina. And the reason why I think this is so there's something that I haven't discussed yet, so it might be a bit complicated. But the word, for one, most would pronounce this name as Dean, but there's an H at the end, so it's kind of strange. Why is there an H at the end? And I looked up the Japanese name, and the pronunciation in how it is written in katakana in Japanese would be Dina. So there's like there's a sound at the end as well. Like it's not just Dean, it's Dina. And so how I came, and it's actually a German word, where what it's supposed to sound like, in my opinion, and why I am convinced of this is because this is not the only German word I have discovered so far. It's in the Great Turtle Shell, for example, there is a barricade shield. It also depicts a hawk, and it's a German name as well. Once again, where do we have the skill here as well? No. Is there? Can I? Okay, never mind. But in the Great Turtle Shell, there's the skill barricade shield. The skill barricade shield depicts also the hawk of the kite shield, and the name Sir Neidhart that appears in this skill sounds incredibly German. It's Neidhart could mean something like hardly jealous. This is what the name sounds like, and I think it's supposed to be exactly this. So a name referring to someone being hardly jealous. This is what I think is Sir Neidhart referring to. It sounds like, and it's almost written like two German words. So, and when it comes to Stormhawk Dina, Dina, so as I said, in Japanese, it's written in katakana, like a phonetic just phonetic symbols, and it's supposed to sound like Diener. And in German, the word Diener is the word for servant. So it's, if you want to, so in English it would sound like a Stormhawk servant, and not only fits this it fits the pattern with another German word in connection to the Kite Shield and Sir Neidhart. So it's it becomes more of a pattern that it's not the only German word. So it might be more convincing this way. And but the other thing that convinced me is that it also fits the description. Because the whole description is about someone being loyal and serving someone. So the name Diener as servant makes completely sense, even theme-wise. It says, a spirit of a fierce hawk that faithfully rendered lifelong service to the old king of Stormvale long ago, when the true storm raged. Its cries bold and swallows in battle, and the tempestuous winds that encircle it shred through foes. So the name Stormhawk Servant, or like Diener, if you want to say so, fits incredibly well. And there's even more, because at some point I realized that Dialos is a Godfrey parallel, and Dialos got a servant. It is Servant Lanya. And Servant Lanya is actually a parallel to Melina, in my opinion. So there once again we got someone with a heritage of a house and a servant. And here we have the Storm King and some kind of servant as well. So in this case, it's always, once again, more symbolic. The old Storm King stands symbolically for Godfrey, and the Stormhawk Diener for Melina. And it fits incredibly well that it's placed right next to us. And if you ever wondered why Wilder, the Wilder in Night Rain, if you ever have seen the pattern on his back, it's usually covered, but I got some data miners that sent me the textures of his back. The Wilder has 3 pairs of wings on his back that, in my opinion, stands symbolically for these 3 hawks. For like Stormhawk Diener as Melina, the Warhawk Ashes symbolically for Godwyn, and then we also have the Stormhawk King symbolically for Godfrey. So it's all tracing back to Stormvale Limgrave. And then you even have the Barricade Shield with and the Kite Shield that, in my opinion, are referring to Radagon. So I think this one, for example, is about Radagon. There's so much that I have still in mind. It's just too much and too complicated. We have to make our way through the whole story step by step. Okay, where have we... Oh. It's kind of warm here. Just wait a second. So for those of you who are interested in the German words that I think are found in the names, it's about this one. So yeah, the scenery over there is something about a dead jellyfish. That's why they are angry. You find 3 blood grease. Number 3, sign of bad omen. And the spirit jellyfish shield with them. Probably being symbolic for a dead jellyfish. So that's what the scenery is about. Whoops. Three blood grease. And the jellyfish shield. I can't really wrap my head around Dialos and Lanya are Godwyn Melina parrots, but if that's true, that sounds like another big piece of evidence. It's part of the bucket theory. RJ, I interpret Dialos more as a Godfrey parallel, not Godwyn. So, from my point of view, Dialos and Lanya are supposed to be referring to Godfrey and Melina. And it's also paralleled or symbolic represented by the Stormhawk King and the old Storm King and Stormhawk Dina as a servant. And in Night Rain, it's represented through the Raider and Weatherwain. They are all referring to the same part of the story. And Old Albus and Latenna as well. And Bernal and his maiden. It's all about them. It's all about Godfrey and Melina. It might be a bit incredible because there's nothing literally in text form referring to these circumstances, but I'm 100% convinced. So this is interesting because of the Mad Pumpkin Head. I can remember that I had a difficult time to figure out what these items might mean here. Okay, we got a rune arc. Might refer to America in some way. Or to the Earth Tree? I don't know. Cuckoo Glintstone. I think the best way you can imagine it is, I think the relationship between Godfrey, between the Raider and Weatherwain, and that's where I think it becomes, or it's the most recognizable. So when you follow my story of the We Are Godwyn series, they planned the Night of the Black Knives. Godwyn is ending up in the Chapel of Anticipation, slumbering, falling in deep sleep. Marika, as the woman in the black hood, died in the Night of the Black Knives, returning to the Earth Tree and Radagon. And the only people who are left are Melina and Godfrey. So these two are kind of left behind. But even Melina is dying at some point, in a way. And then it's only Godfrey. Yeah, okay, I mean, yeah, Rykard is surviving too. But it seems like he might not... Yeah. I mean, it's true. Ronnie and Rykard survived too. But I think... Yeah, for some reason Rykard is not in the... I mean, even Rykard was probably part of the conspiracy, but it seems like the inner circle, like the... Yeah, the main characters, those with a even bigger bond, might be Melina, Godwyn, Godfrey, and Marika. Although I think Rykard and Runny, for example, were part of the conspiracy as well. Oh, but I forgot. But Rykard is also playing a bigger role later on. So it's not that Rykard is doing nothing. Although she might be referred to as servant, it's just that I think that Godfrey is just supposed to be the leading part, or the. I mean, he's the old Elden Lord in a way, you know. It's not that Melina is a servant in a bad way, just that. Yeah, she's with him. Albinoric blood clot. Blood clot? 6 of them. Everything's done 4. Yeah, seems like that Rykard somewhat Volcano Manor should have been the last bastion or somewhat like this against the Earth Tree. You guys know we got chests, but we got so incredibly uninteresting items in there. So once again, I think there might be something going on here with symbols, but I don't get it. We got a smithing stone 4, just 1. It's not even the amount that is interesting. And 6 albinoric blood clot. We also have a knight. Ah, bro. I mean, the hidden story of Godfrey is way bigger than you might think. There still happens a lot after the Night of the Black Knives. I mean, if you think about it, it completely makes sense. What else does happen after the Night of the Black Knives? There's a lot. The golden lineage falls from grace, is turning against the Earth Tree. We got banners with the hawk in front of Leyndell after a siege on Leyndell. It might even be possible to connect all these things to Volcano Manor. Okay, my biggest problem here is that I'm not sure. So for one, I haven't figured out what the number 6 might mean. Even the number 6 might have some meaning. We got 6 blood clot and 1 smithing stone, but I'm still not sure what the smithing stone might be referring to. Maybe it's just about the gold that it contains. Or it's about the number 4. I can see that. This foot soldier is kind of strange, but I think there's some more down there. Yeah. Six throwing daggers. Okay, we got 6 throwing daggers, and there's also an interesting spot over there. Six throwing daggers. Summer smithing those 3. Towards what is it looking at? Is it looking at the isle? Oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. Yeah, I would say probably looking at the isle. The island. Two random soldiers. It looks like that even the carriage is pointing towards the island. Like everything we found here. Okay, guys, I think we are done with the west coast. King's Realm runes. I've already been here, right? Yeah.
Well, then I presume these old bones served their purpose. More or less. I've explained of the enchanted snare that remains at the royal. Whatever you do, brave Tarnished.
Oh. I forgot that he's using gravity spells. The Soulless King. What up, RJ? You know a king who's soulless? Which one? His corpse is soulless, yes. Maybe it would be a good idea to look up the etymology of Ensha, or if the name is a reference to something. I think I've seen people or comments or posts about this name already, but I forgot what the name might be about.
You. What is it? Oh, my apologies for that nasty business. Ensha got rather ahead of himself, it seems. As his master, I'd like to express my regret. But now, Ensha is slain and gone. Finished. Forevermore.
It sounds a bit suspicious how he said it, right? He's gone forevermore. Like, it sounds a bit like irony. Do you think he's supposed to be a Godwyn parallel? Could it be that it's mirroring the Night of the Black Knives, where Godwyn kinda killed himself? Did we just kill ourselves? Is that what it's about? I'm just wondering. I thought Ensha might be a Radagon parallel, but maybe he's also a Godwyn parallel. I'm not sure. I don't know. It just sounds so suspicious how Gideon said that he's gone forevermore. It sounds like a little bit like irony in some way. I don't know. To gun ahead of himself, or what is it called? Could also be referring to Godwyn, like killing himself before Radagon can do it. Might fit, maybe. And it sounds a bit like what we hear at the end of the DLC as well, where we are supposed to be a lord for the weak, a lord for the for human, not for gods. Yeah, the relationships between those parallels definitely. So you're completely right, RJ. I think the relationships between the NPCs also complement the parallels. Why is Gideon calling him Ensha, though we know it's very unlikely that that's actually Ensha and aren't all remains, and the Wandering Mausoleum some kind of royal remains? Boah, I don't know. Gideon, I think Gideon is more like the Greater Will. Or could it be that Gideon is paralleling both Radagon and the greater will. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Maybe, yeah. Maybe you're completely right that there. Maybe Gideon. I always thought that the Gideon might more paralleling the greater will. But the Elden Beast and the greater will and Radagon are somewhat intertwined, so I don't know. But it kind of fit the relationships, maybe, that Ansha is kind of leaving Gideon behind in a way, in the way that Ansha's dying, in the same way like Godwyn dies, and is leaving behind Radagon. Oh, that's an interesting thought.
Ah, yes. Allow me to tender some advice in regard to the half of the secret medallion you possess. Find the Albinoric woman. She hides in a cave to the west of the Laskia ruins, which jut from the mist-shrouded lake of Liurnia. She knows the location of the medallion's counterpart, I'm sure.
I mean, it could involve us, right? Like, we are killing Ansha, like Godwyn is killing himself in a way. I don't know, it's just that I thought that Gideon might, especially because of his scepter, I thought the Gideon might more represent the greater will and the Elden Beast, because it acts more manipulatively, but yeah, sometimes Radagon is doing this as well.
Find the Albinoric woman. She hides in a cave to the west of the Laskia ruins, which jut from the mist-shrouded lake of Liurnia. She knows the location of the medallion's counterpart, I'm sure.
You know, especially the eye symbolism. I associate the eye symbolism that even Gideon has on its armor. Led me more to believe that Gideon is supposed to parallel the Elden Beast, or the Elden Ring, or the Greater Will.
Find the Albin. She hides in a cave. She knows.
Find the Albinoric woman. Yeah, Ansha is still interesting. I'm not sure which character he might parallel. Unspeaking would also fit to us, as we are someone who doesn't speak in the game. But it also fits to Radagon. But the effect might fit to Godwyn's story, where he slowly is regaining his life force when he comes near death. But then the Ancient Lord, I don't know what. I haven't associated Godwyn with being ancient, so. So where's the weapon? Let's look at the weapon again. Yeah, but gravitational, like gravity sorcery, I would also more associate with. Wait, what stuff is the Ensha using, by the way? Let me just check what Ensha's using. Okay, he's using the meteorite stuff. Collapsing stars. Yeah, it's just that it's a hard one. I don't associate gravity with Godwyn. That's why I thought it might be maybe more fitting to be parallel to to Radagon, maybe. Horrific weapon made of a hardened skeletal arm wielded by Ensha of the royal remains, fitted by placing one's hand into the fist's grip until they dig in. Or clinging creature, a king relinquishes not the hand. Relinquishes does mean like refusing, right? To give away. So like so let's try to interpret it more symbolically again. So I think the whole hand symbolism and 5 fingers are probably symbolic for the greater will, or the greater will's influence. Clinging creature could be related to Godwyn's, Godwyn being near death, maybe. It could be about his survival, maybe. What if, so if we interpret the hand symbolically for being like the greater will and the Elden Ring, what if it is about like refusing to return to the Earth Tree, to the Elden Ring and the greater will? It's just an interpretation. I don't know, but I'm just brainstorming right now for you guys. So maybe it's about Godwyn clinging to his life and refusing the call of the Earth Tree and Elden Ring to return to it. Maybe this is what is about relinquishing not the hand, or relinquishes the hand, like refusing the call of the greater will and the Elden Ring. Because I think the most intriguing line here is a king relinquishes not the hand. And I'm just wondering what this might refer to. And I think we can definitely assume that the hand might be symbolic for the greater will and the Elden Ring, or the Elden Beast. Because it's also associated with the 5 fingers. It's a symbolism that also appears on Gideon's scepter, for example. and the Cinquetta, which is referring to the Elden Beast probably, because it looks exactly like 100% like a hand of the Astel. Oh wait, I have an idea. It might be a good thing. A clinging creature, I would say. I think maybe it's the clinging creature is. I mean, you can also think about it like who is talking to who. I mean, it's it's spoken towards the one who's wearing the weapon, right? So the clinging creature is the one who's wearing the weapon. Yeah, it's definitely challenging to interpret this the right way. I mean, there are themes going on that I would say, yeah, maybe it's all referring to Radagon, but it definitely fits in some way also to Godwyn's story. But it's just the line of Gideon where he says he's gone forevermore. That line would fit really well with Godwyn's story, where everyone thinks he's definitely gone, right? So this dialogue line now kinda leads me more to the interpretation of Ensha being in parallel to Godwyn. Just because it fits more Godwyn's story. But maybe, I don't know. Yeah. It just it sounds like irony, like said it. Yeah, he's definitely gone for now. Oh, he's definitely dead. Yeah, sure. You know? And the part about the Lord of the Lost and Desperate maybe fits even better with Godwyn as well. Because maybe we are the only one who is able to free all of the souls of the Elden Ring. You know? In a similar way where Sir Ansbach says at the end of the DLC that we are supposed to be a lord for humans, for the weak. You know? And the clinging bone hand, where is it? So, for right now, I interpret the line, "Oh, clinging creature, a king who relinquishes not the hand," sounds for me like the Elden Beast, or Greater Will, or the Elden Ring, speaking towards Godwyn, where they want to convince him to not turn against the Elden Ring and the Elden Beast. He should not relinquish the hand. He should return to the Earth Tree, like in this way. I really like that interpretation right now. And it kind of makes sense that it is because of that, you know, it kind of makes sense in a way because it is linked to Latenna. It's linked to Latenna's questline. It makes completely sense in the order of events. So you got old Albus as Godfrey surviving the massacre in Limgrave in Weeping Peninsula. Then you got Ansha as Godwyn dying in the Night of the Black Knives. And then you end up with a slumbering wolf next to Latenna. So, and then Godwyn is then ending up slumbering in the Chapel of Anticipation. So it even fits the whole order of events. Woo! Guys, we made it live on stream. Like, this is brainstorming live. If you ever wondered how I'm going to interpret these things. Oh, but these are just incredibly rare moments. So, but you guys might maybe you are able to follow my thoughts. I don't know. Yeah, especially because it fits the order of events so incredibly well. I'm now definitely convinced that Ansha might be a Godwyn parallel. I don't know, who was it? Was it RJ or Zed? Zed was it, who said it as well. Yeah. Yeah, relinquishing the hand, RJ, I would interpret more as rejecting the influence of not only the fingers but also the influence of the greater will, or the Elden Beast, who is represented through the 5 fingers. Okay, we got Godfrey surviving the massacre and hiding and surviving all of it, turning against the Earth Tree, then teaming up with Marika, planning the Night of the Black Knives. We got Ansha as Godwyn, and in the end it's kind of interesting because we are killing Ansha, so we are killing ourselves in a way. So it mirrors even the circumstances that Godwyn was part of the plan in killing himself. So even that fits incredibly well. So we are killing Ansha, Godwyn is part of the plan killing himself. And is a clinging creature making its way to Stormvale and relinquishing and refusing the call of the Elden Ring to return to the Earth Tree. And now is ending up slumbering in the Chapel of Anticipation. And the scenery that we have here with the Slumbering Wolf Shack, I mean, it's called the Slumbering Wolf Shack. The scenery that we have here is, and now we come to a part that I haven't discussed much yet, but Latenna is supposed to mirror this Melina. And as I have told the story, Marika dies in the Night of the Black Knives prematurely and leaving behind not only Godfrey but also Melina, who is now with the slumbering Godwyn in the Chapel of Anticipation, who is not able to be resurrected fully.
I told the all-hearing brute already that I possess no such medallion. Or have you come to take more from me? Was my other half not enough?
And the Towering Sister definitely refers to Marika because, and I think the choice of words, Towering Sister, is deliberately chosen there because the choice of words, towering, is usually only used when it comes to the Earth Tree. So it's there are some cases, there are some more item descriptions where it's always said the Towering Earth Tree. And I think the Towering Sister is like, yeah, America inside the Earth Tree, in a way. Or America as the Earth Tree in as made out of grace, I mean.
Oh. Do you speak true? So old Albus entrusted his medallion to you. Then I have no choice but to trust that this was his dying will. Let's try again. I'm Latenna, an Albinoric, the same as old Albus. My apologies for my coarse words earlier. I presume the worst. Seeing that you're another tarnished like that all-hearing brute, I hope that you will forgive me. The medallion's better off in your hands anyway. Would you consider doing me a great service? I must go back. There is something I must do, even if I must say farewell to my wolf Lobo. Will you show me the way? To the land of Miquella's Halig tree. If you accept, I would gladly apprise you of the whereabouts of the medallion's other half.
Doesn't it sound like incredibly familiar? A young girl asking us to lead herself to lead her and to a holy tree. And it's definitely a Melina parallel in my opinion. So, but in this case, Lobo is actually the slumbering Godwyn. So are the Albinorics parallel to the shaman and the different stages describe the flesh melting process? There's some complex things going on in my opinion. I think the Tarnished are kinda, or the Albinorics are paralleling the Tarnished. It's just that I think when it comes to the Earth Tree, the beings are not born naturally. I think those the beings of the Earth Tree are in some way, yeah, not naturally born. I don't know if you could call them artificial beings, but I think that's what they are. So it's not like, yeah, making a baby. There's some more complex thing going on in my opinion.
Thank you kindly. They say the other half of the medallion is beyond the Forbidden Lands, north of the Erd Tree, in Castle Sol, on the mountaintops of the Giants, accessible by the Grand Lift of Rold. Then I suppose it's time. Farewell, Lobo. My faithful wolf. My better half. I will go with the Tarnished, so that our journey will not have been in vain. Forgive me, Lobo. Call upon me when needed, and I will fight at your side.
Okay, in this part of the story, there is a whole story arc still hidden in the game when it comes to Godfrey and Melina. But if you remember the We Are Godwyn series, Godwyn is ending up in the Chapel of Anticipation, slumbering, almost dead. America, as the woman in the black hood, died prematurely, not being able to resurrect Godwyn, and fully, I mean, and yeah, Marika's soul is returning to the Earth Tree. So who's left is Melina and Godfrey, and they both of them have together a story arc, as I said before, that is referenced through the old Storm King and Stormhawk Dina. It's represented through old Albus and Latenna. It's paralleled by the Raider and Night Rain and Weather Wayne. And also through Bernal and his maiden. And I mean, what do you think? I mean, what choice did they have when the whole plan kind of failed? There was not much they could have done, but they chose to move on. So they had no choice but let Godwyn slumbering in the chapel of anticipation and move on. And yeah. And this is at a time where I think that Melina was still alive. Yeah, good rune arc, okay. Maybe as a reference to Marika's influence regarding us slumbering. Okay, where are we? We still have to join Ronnie's. Ronnie, I mean.
Always good to see you, son. This is a black knife print. I can scarcely believe you managed to get your hands on this. You recall our conversation about the Night of the Black Knives, yes? They say the assassins who carried out the deed were scions of the Eternal City. A group entirely of women, arrayed in armor of silver under cloaks which fooled the eye. The knives they wielded, though, were imparted with the power of the Rune of Death through sinister rite. Please, I beg of you, lend me the knife print for a time. I'd love nothing more than to tease out its secrets. Though only a fragment, a very specific ritual had to be performed to impart the power of the Rune of Death. Traces of the one who performed the rite are sure to remain in the imprint. Half my body has been suffused with death. I'm certain it will help me see. Oh, still...
Go to Garanko. Killing those is a path.
I just wanted to try out, where is it? Oh, can I use it? I've never seen the ice spear, Ash of War. Pole arms, a thrusting, and twin blades. Oops. kind of looks cool. Okay, guys, I think that's it for now. I'm gonna make a break, having lunch. But I really enjoyed the stream today, especially because I'm now pretty much convinced that Ancha might be a parallel to Godwyn, and that it all fits really well with Latenna and old Albus as Godfrey and Melina parallels, and even the order of events. So, yeah. Thank you guys for coming by. Maybe I'm streaming later this day again, but not sure of this yet. So, I wish you guys all the best, and yeah, have a great day. Enjoy the sun, if it's sunny outside at your place. At least it's how it is here, and I'm really grateful for this. And I might enjoy the sun day, but I'm going outside. Bye bye, guys.